Grand rising, or whatever time of day it is you're watching me. Welcome to Revolution Sundays with yours truly, AG Green. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. Let's invite people to connect with us in this digital, but more importantly, spiritual and mental space. I am always honored and privileged to be with you here on today. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. Again, you're watching Revolution Sundays with yours truly, A.G. Green Sr. Let's pray. Almighty, we're so thankful and grateful for this crowning moment that you've afforded all of us. We're so thankful and grateful to be connected by spirit and by consciousness and even technology. Lead us and guide us into truth. Let your divine knowledge, your divine wisdom be revealed. We open our hearts to align with Christ and Christ's mind. And we just thank you for the highest versions of ourselves connected to the highest versions of your will for us. We thank you and bless you, the gospel of consciousness. Thank you for life and health and strength. Empower this broadcast as you empower the people. We bless you in the name, the consciousness, the power, and the way of Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. And let's let some folk know that we are on the air. Again, grand rising to everyone who's watching me today. What an honor. What a privilege it is. What a privilege it is to be with you today. I don't take this lightly, but in the greatest humility possible for me in this moment. I'm so thankful for you. And I'm so thankful for the creator, source, and sustainer of all things. Let me check. Let's see what's happening. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, through the Christos, through the Christ mind who strengthens me. Even in these moments where the world is, again, highlighting more conflict. And at the same time, on an individual level, people are dealing with grief and loss. On the national level, the same. I want you to know that I can somehow, some way float on these waters. I can somehow, some way maintain my buoyancy and not sink. I can. I want you to type in the comment section those two words. I can. I can. You don't have to know how. You just have to believe I can. You don't have to have all the details right now. You just have to embrace I can. You have to choose in faith. I can. I can. Just as our ancestor now, the late great Reverend Jesse Jackson said, I am somebody. You've got to know that I can, which leads me to Ephesians 3:29, to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Again, referring back to I am somebody. Type it in the comment section. I am powerful. I am somebody, given to us by the late great Reverend Jesse Jackson, is a powerful statement because it is declaring a state of consciousness, a state of mind, a state of being. And when you declare, I am powerful, you are owning in your heart, you're owning in your mind as a divine spiritual being. And I am in oneness with the great I am, and I have and possess power. I am powerful enough to create and manifest wealth. I am powerful enough to create and co-create and manifest happiness. I am powerful enough to co-create and co-manifest openings, windows of opportunity, opening of windows of opportunity, openings of doors of success. Come on, type it in the comment section and speak it to yourself. I am powerful. And when you speak it with conviction, when you speak it in the conviction of knowing, you can sense the presence and at times experience God, what we call the anointing, flowing through us freely. Own the power. Choose to be powerful, to utilize this power, to strategically exercise it, versus to be haphazardly using power to create chaos. This is what people are doing every day. Many times as they live in oblivion, they are utilizing and exercising power to destroy their own lives, to desecrate their own holiness. And I'm always encouraging you to own the power. When you own the power, you're choosing a state of consciousness that no matter what's going on in my life, I'm powerful enough to choose what happens now, to determine what happens now, and also to determine what happens next. So glad to see all of you on today. I want to gently remind you that you can connect with our spiritual community, Patreon, on patreon.com/AG Green Now, which is where Revolution Inc. is. All kinds of good information there. It's for free and paid tiers. We want you to connect on the paid tiers. We keep growing every week and developing and curating information for you to consume. Want to make sure you're there. Also follow me on the various social media channels you see listed at the bottom of the screen. Your support is thoroughly appreciated. And I want you to prepare to give at sometime during the broadcast. You're going to use these giving opportunities that you see now at the bottom of the screen. And of course, visit theaggreen.com to keep up with the latest happenings of what's going on with our spiritual community. Hey. Praise and gratitude alert. Praise and gratitude alert. Praise and gratitude alert. I want you to type at least one thing you're thankful to the Creator, Source, and Sustainer for. I want you to type at least one thing in the comment section that you are thankful for right now, that you give praise for. And I'm putting it up now. I'm thankful and grateful for the life of Jesse Jackson. He was, as they say, laid to rest on yesterday, one of our iconic civil rights leaders whom we shall always remember. I will always remind people in proximity to me that he lived, that he worked, that he sacrificed, that he led, he bled, then he died. And I'm thankful and grateful for his life and the life he offered humanity. Our resident mystic Wesley Turk says, thankful for life. And I guess I should have asked today, I want to make sure you can see and hear me well. I want to make sure you can see and hear me well. What are you thankful for on today? What are you thankful for on today? Let's see. I'm thankful and grateful for life on today, says Linda Nelson. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to share what you are thankful for on today? Talk to me, family. What are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? See, my Krista. My Krista says I'm thankful for love and life. Wonderful. Hillary says thankful that all my girls are finally feeling better. Hopefully we'll get our sleep schedule back on track. Wonderful. And thank you for being able to see and hear me well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Stay in the mindset and the spirit of praise and gratitude at all times. I want you to type it in the comment section, excuse me. I must practice gratitude daily. Come on, type that in the comment section. I must practice gratitude daily. Type that in the comment section. I must practice gratitude daily, every single day, even if I'm hurting, even if my heart is heavy. I'm going to find reasons to be thankful. I'm going to practice some gratitude. I'm going to find something in my life that I will express praise and gratitude for. Practice it daily. It's some of the best conditioning you can provide yourself. It's some of the best therapy you can offer yourself. Is to just be thankful. It's to just practice gratitude. It's some of the best signals you can transmit into the universe. It's the best frequency you can operate from. It's the best consciousness. It's to just be thankful as often as you possibly can. So what's good? What are you feeling, family? What are you feeling? I want to know what are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? Today I've got a protein shake, a vanilla protein shake. It's got a little bit of some cran grape in it from last night. I just didn't want to throw it out, so I put that protein shake, mixed it in. It's got superfoods in it, and then I've got a well-known mushroom coffee that's nasty that I mix in with the protein shake now, which is it's really good for you though, that I am sipping on right now. And find me another reorder old mushroom coffee and sip on it because I do like my coffee hot, but it's mixed in this wonderful concoction today. That's what I am sipping on right now. What are you eating and sipping? And how are you feeling in the moment? Our resident mystic, Pastor Turk, says, sipping water. Sipping water. Anybody else? And I look forward to this because I kind of live vicariously through some of y'all because, you know, y'all be eating and sipping on some wonderful, wonderful stuff this early in the morning. So I'm looking forward to seeing what some of y'all are eating and sipping. And of course, I always want to know how you are feeling. Let's see here. Hillary says, feeling better today. Physical body's a little achy. Eating a yummy fruit bowl. Mango, watermelon, and pineapple, and drinking water. See the wide spectrum or the wide range that she has in terms of the food she eats. She could be eating a dinner, a breakfast, Chinese food or whatever, all the way touching a very healthy potpourri of fruit. What a wonderful thing. See, my Krista says, feeling a little tired, getting ready to make coffee, toast, and oatmeal. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. It's one reason I'm late. I went to bed at a decent hour. It was after 1. I say decent hour because if you know me, for me, I go to bed anywhere between 3 and 5. One morning, 6 lately. Just can't sleep. So I understand that feeling. Let's see. Linda says, I'm feeling fine drinking on strawberry electrolytes drink mix. Come on now. Y'all got the health thing going. Y'all got the health thing going. Our resident therapist, Pastor Cotton, says black coffee, fruit and lemon, and apple cider vinegar, feeling grateful for life and purpose. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And let's see. Is this daylight saving time? How did I miss that? Did I miss that? Is this daylight savings time weekend? Did I miss that? Really? So this is really we sprang forward. No wonder. Lost an hour. So really was 2 after when I went to bed. Okay. I normally don't miss those shifts like that, those time changes. So okay, that's why some of us are feeling sluggish. We lost an hour of sleep. Again, this is not like the old days, at least not for some of us, where you got to rewind a clock. Don't get me wrong, there are manual clocks in some people's houses, but most of us go by the the clock or the time that's on our cell phones, tablets, and computers. And it adjusts for us automatically. So when you look over uh, at your phone after a certain time, it's already adjusted itself for you. That's what it is. Okay, goodness gracious. We all lost an hour. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Wanted to stay in bed. Almost did stream today. I was like, Jesus, I don't know. Got up, did my hygiene, took shower, all that, and just said, okay, let me, as the old folk used to say, press my way. That's what it is. I lost an hour. We all lost an hour of sleep. Thank y'all. Such a well-informed spiritual community. Thank y'all for passing it on. I'm sorry that I missed that. Sorry that I missed that. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Let's get into the subject matter. And I just want to say, and we're going to be in John 17 and 21. John 17 and 21. We're going to start there, John 17 and 21. That's right, Mother Woodard. She would encourage us to press your way through. Press your way through. That's what she would encourage us to do. Absolutely. The legend of Mother Woodard. Love that woman. One of the old church mothers in the church at Green Memorial Church of God in Christ. A stalwart. Uh, Emma B. Woodard, I believe. Exceptional. Miss her so dearly. Uh, as we prepare, as my assistants prepare to put up John 17:21, again, I want to remind you uh, of, as spiritual beings who possess a soul or have a soul. When we say soul from the religious tradition, we're really talking about the mind, will, and emotions, the intellectual aspects of our being. I don't think our intellect is merely uh, comprised or derived from brain technology or matter, the combination of um, the brain that exists within the cranium and all of its various functions. It is absolutely a real apparatus that we utilize in connection with this reality. But I also believe that as spirit beings who can exist outside this body, we still have a mind that is superior to the natural mind. But as we are here in this construct, as we are here in this matrix, as you can see, if you're watching me, I am a shade of color. And it doesn't make so much make a difference what shade of color you're in, with the exception of the fact that, or what shade of color, excuse me, you've birthed, were birthed into this matrix as. The perversion in terms of the observation of value, or the observation of value has been perverted to create a narrative and create a definition that if you are not a certain shade, meaning more specifically globally white, you are inferior. And don't get me wrong, prejudice can exist in all races, but you inhabit a body with a color. And I think that everybody has an obligation to justice. Everybody has an obligation to justice in the sense that you want to make sure that you do your part as a dynamic spiritual species to fight for the rights of the disenfranchised, to fight on behalf of those who cannot fight for themselves. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that as time goes on. Use your power to lift and to elevate, to inspire and to lead. Use your power to lead and not for greed. So just wanted to drop that nugget on you as I continue to reflect on the life of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson and ask yourself the question, what can I do to advance equality? What can I do to enhance somebody else's life? What can I do to demonstrate and show love? Let me say this in moving forward. It is imperative, family, in this era of our existence that we know how to manifest a life that is prosperous, a life that is fulfilled. If you're depending on the White House to do that for you, you're already in trouble. Okay? You're already in trouble. You're going to have to learn how, despite the powers in our judicial system, the powers in the executive branch of government, uh, the powers in the legislative branch. You're going to have to somehow, some way, as a dynamic spiritual species, as a spiritual being who's one with God, to learn how to co-manifest your reality. I needed to drop that nugget on you. And we've got to, at some point in time, own our power so that we won't give or forfeit our power to somebody who lives thousands of miles away. One of the reasons teaching like this and the teaching we do on this platform is liberating is because you will be able to, from a perspective of power, from a perspective of success, deal with these topics, subjects, and issues, empower other people who have not quite risen to the level you are yet in terms of your lucidity, clarity, and understanding, as well as your ability to uh, produce the fruit of a well manifested life. You'll be able to approach the subject not feeling like a victim or not as one who requires certain things to uphold your survival, but as one who says, I've risen above that. Let me show you how to do that. And at the same time, being able to participate from a place of power. They call it the struggle. I don't necessarily like the word struggle. I use it for decades. But in this manifesting community, we might need to coin a new phrase for those of us who are still in a fight, in the sense of we know that racism is systemic and we want to use our power from these platforms and from this community and others like it to elevate the mindset of people to that of mastery and not so much struggle. Thought I'd throw that out there. Uh, and yes, our resident mystic is right. We must control our reality. Come on. I want you to type that in the comment section. That is a good statement. Type that in the comment section. We must control our reality. Type that in the comment section. We must control our reality. Type that in the comment section. We must control our reality. Type that in the comment section. We must control our reality. You know, these are things within our Patreon community where I won't need graphics and all that kind of stuff, where I would just like to have a conversation uh, with our community and have a conversation with other people in the spiritual community, because I really think, I don't think the church has the answer except of a collective consciousness to feed the hungry and at times elevate the hope and faith of people. I think it's just too bogged down with fallacy. I do think that the spiritual community can connect with all communities, including the religious community, and create a mindset of, or create a consciousness to help people learn how to create their own reality. That's your responsibility. It's not the creator's. It's not God. It's not the divine's responsibility to create your reality. It's yours. No, you're taught differently. This is not in my notes. I'm just going, I'm flowing, I'm going and flowing. It's just on me. It's just with me right now. We must control our reality. If we learn how to do that, if we learn that we are doing that, excuse me, if we learn to intentionally do it, consciously do it, then we're going to see, despite racism and prejudice and hatred and bigotry, we're going to still flourish. We're going to still thrive. Good to see you on Patreon today. Pamela's on Patreon today, Pamela Moore. I just wanted to say that as a segue into our lesson on today. We'll be discussing that more. Um, Participating from a strength, a position of power. I'll give you an example. There's a black media source right now I have contributed to in the past, but I want to contribute a lot of money to. And one can only contribute a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, again, which is a deposit into a fund, into a media source, but that's also to me, connecting with a civil rights fund to advance causes, to highlight and champion um, issues and so much more that relates to minorities, and giving those people who have that expertise fuel to represent us in a powerful way. It's one thing to watch something. It's another thing to give to it and help it blow up and expand and help it continue to, um, yeah, just grow in that space that it's in. There's a particular gentleman who is doing an exceptional job in that space, and I'm sure there are others out there, but in my mind, he's number one. I love to drop a wonderful donation and do my part in that way. Then there's other ways you can participate, whether it's working in a position on a job, looking out for people, or organizing in your community, or there's several different ways. You've got to find your way. And that's a part of also controlling our reality by contributing to people and organizations that are actually, as we say, making a difference. King James Version says that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me and I in, couldn't see that, in thee, that they also may be one in us. And he's talking about us as a dynamic spiritual species. Now we're on part 9 of the Oneness with God. We're shifting thematic texts today because we've been working from John 14, and now we are in John 17. And the NIV says that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they be in us so that the world may believe that you have sent me. All right. Um, Again, this is part 9, the oneness of God, the oneness of me and God. I want you to type this in the comment section, but before you type it, I want you to still yourself, quiet yourself. Hopefully there's not too much noise going on around you. And I want you to first say within yourself, I am one with God. And now I then want you to type in the comment section, I am one with God. Type that in the comment section. I am one with God. Type that in the comment section. I am one with God. Thank you so much. Again, this is a subject that's worthy of consistent, deep exploration. I am one with God. Mhm. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've always, not always, but I sense the presence often. When I say that, I have accepted that, I have embraced that I'm not separate and apart. I'm one. I want you to always live in that consciousness that I am one with God. So as we start from John 17, family, now you know how I do it is I'll be teaching from this for weeks. And I always try and start at at a layer, maybe a top layer or a layer or two beneath the surface. And then I like to present different angles. So I'll be doing that as well. I'll be taking my time over the next few weeks. You know, I like to use all of the different angles from traditional theology to psychology to sometimes sociological or sociology's perspectives, theology's perspectives, the metaphysical community's perspectives, science perspectives. So it's why it takes me time. I like to look through different lenses and see how they maybe synthesize or maybe bear witness to each other. So although in John 17 and 21, these are prayers, they're also considered to be the final prayers of Yeshua. I want you to know it's not really something in terms of a casual conversation, not even really a public message. It's also not symbolic. It is Yeshua actually praying. And he's not praying about temporary needs. He's praying about ultimate reality. There is, family, an ultimate reality. We must learn how to access ultimate reality. That key lives within us. It's about ultimate reality. What he says in John 17:21 is powerful. It's powerful. He says that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you. just as you are in me and I in you, that they may also be in us. This is why it is important that we own this oneness, because it already exists. He goes on to say, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. This is about witness, bearing witness, bearing witness, in this case, to the messenger. And in our case, bearing witness ourselves being messengers and representatives of the divine, of the creator. Did you notice that he didn't pray first for power? Did you notice he does not pray first for protection? And did you notice he does not pray first for influence? These are all things men tend to strive after, including myself at times. He prays for oneness. Again, he prays for oneness. It's not just for unity to cooperate or as cooperation. He's literally praying for participation in divine communion. Divine communion. Again, I want you to inhale that. I want you to exhale anything else that's contrary to this, and know that understanding what oneness is with your creator is paramount. It is so critical to your identity. It is so critical to your state of consciousness. It is so critical to your state of being. It is so critical to your psychology. I can't, again, emphasize this enough. I cannot overemphasize how imperative it is for your mental state, how imperative it is for your self esteem, how imperative it is for your self worth, how imperative it is for your self love. Just knowing I don't have to grovel, I don't have to beg, I don't have to plead. Yeshua, a mediator of the divine name, an ascended being, recognizes the importance of his followers, people who listen to him, that they would know they are one. One. This is a pre-cross conversation. And there are a lot of stuff that's made up after the cross about who and what you are because of the cross. These are pre-cross conversations. This is considered to be, and I was going to bring it up the next time I go over this in the next outline. I got more than one outline for these teachings. It's called a high priestly prayer. This is before, even from traditional religious tradition, he hasn't gone to the cross yet, and that people attach meanings to what happens on the cross and meanings to what happens after the cross. Those are other discussions. This is before the crucifixion. The prayer for oneness, the prayer that there be a participation in divine communion. Look at the four movements in this verse real quickly. The four movements: that they may all be one. That's number one. Number two, as you, Father, are in me and I in you. Number three, that they also may be in us. Number four, so that the world may believe. This is theological architecture at its finest. It's participation without collapse. In historic Christianity, this verse always has been treated as sacred ground. Yeshua compares our unity to the unity of Father and Son. The comparison word as is explosive, not identical, but pattern after. The early church called this participation. And again, I'm giving you the traditional perspective. Stay with me. We're going to look at others. Athanasius of Alexandria famously wrote, God became man so that man might become God. Not by nature, but by grace. Now, in early Christian theology, this would be called theosis. It's a participation in divine life without erasing the creature or the creator creature distinction. So, this is the traditional Christian lens believes that you do not become God, but you share in God's life. That's what in us traditional Christianity says means. Thomas Aquinas says the Son is in the Father by nature. We are in God by participation. So again, Christianity wants to disavow that you as a spirit being who's one with God, it wants to disavow your essence as a spirit being. In other words, there must be a choice in participation, not that it already exists as Yeshua is actually teaching. So from the traditional Christian perspective, Yeshua's prayer is not asking for organizational unity. He is asking that believers share in the same communion of love that exists eternally between Father and Son. Again, this is not sociology, this is ontology. Ontology. Now, let's talk a little bit about oneness for a few minutes. It's not necessarily sameness. It's not necessarily sameness. Oneness does not mean uniformity. If it meant uniformity, then we would have a consciousness and awareness in every moment of unity and being uniform, but that's not usually the case. You can still be one and not uniform. As it relates to the Trinity, traditional theology teaches the Trinity is not three copies of the same person, it is distinction without division, unity without collapse. Augustine of Hippo argued the Father and Son are one not by confusion, but by shared essence. So, from their perspective, when Yeshua prays for oneness, he's not asking that personality disappear, he is asking that fragmentation disappear. This is deeply relevant psychologically, family. Modern interpersonal neurobiology describes integration as the linkage of differentiated parts. That's Dan Siegel. So, as it relates to health systems, they preserve difference while creating coherence. So, in John 17's unity, you've got many persons, but one life, many voices, one love, many gifts, one spirit. Now we look at the metaphysical depth of indwelling consciousness. Let's lean a little bit into the metaphysical. The word repeated in this verse is in. In me, in you, in us. I said again, in me, in you, in us. Yeshua is not speaking spatially or in terms of a measurable space, what we might consider in terms of distance, proximity, or separation. He's speaking relationally. He's speaking consciously. He's speaking ontologically. This is mutual indwelling. Metaphysical Christianity has long interpreted this as divine life flowing through human consciousness. Charles Fillmore described Father as divine mind and Christ as divine idea expressed. And while one may nuance or refine that language, the structural insight remains powerful. God is not external to the believer. The prayer is that believers awaken to the indwelling presence. Awaken to the indwelling presence. I want you to type this in the comment section. I must remain awake to the indwelling presence. Type that in the comment section. I must remain awake to the indwelling presence. Mm, 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 mm. This is a prayer that Yeshua is praying here. People are listening and observing, but it's a prayer to awaken them to indwelling divine life. Indwelling divine life. It is to awaken them to indwelling divine life. Here we go again. You're looking at this. Hear what I'm saying today. We all described, as it was brought to our attention, we described before it was brought to our attention how we felt this morning. We realized we lost an hour. And we were describing, some of us, how tired and sluggish we felt. Let me say this. Because of the way divinity and the divine and the spiritual has been explained to us, people relate the presence of God to a religious experience of, oh, shouting and dancing, speaking in tongues and running all over the floor. And it's like that energy you feel, that presence you feel when you are engaged in a religious service, a religious activity, and you feel so wonderful. Oh, you just, it's just like your body is burning from the head to toe, and this inspirational feeling you is emerging, and this energy, and it really is true. This is what people equate to God. This is what people equate to consciousness of God. This is what people equate to the presence or the power of God. So watch this. When they're not feeling that, it's like their awareness of God isn't there for most people. And they've learned over the years to not totally define God's presence by a feeling, but for the most part, that's what they're being conditioned to do. Because what's the first thing they say in church? Oh, I feel something. I feel my help coming, or I'm feeling God here. You don't have to feel God to be powerful. You don't have to feel God to co-manifest anything. You don't have to feel God to manifest a miracle. But again, we are trained from a sensorial perspective or a sensual perspective, whether they admit it or not. This is what you're training people to think, that if I'm praying and not feeling a tingling in my hand or a tingling in my body, there's no power present, or it's not going to happen for me today. If I don't feel that same energy flow or level of energy, a dynamism in energy, then it's like, oh, there's no anointing here. So why am I explaining it like this? Because there are days you feel like crap. There are days you feel useless. There are days you feel depressed. Mhm. There are days you don't feel spiritual. There are days you don't feel like you belong. There are days you feel like quitting and giving up. There are days you don't love yourself as much. There are days you're saying, what's the use? There are days you're entertaining all kinds of crazy thoughts. There are days you don't like the way you look, you don't like the way you smell. There are days you don't like your hair. There are days you don't like people. Watch this. And on those days, if you go by feelings alone, you will define a spiritual experience by brain chemistry experience or by a chemical cocktail flowing through your body. You will literally define your spirituality based on how the human body or how your body feels in the moment. And you'll think that you're less spiritual. You'll think that you're less powerful. When I say think, I really mean believe. In those moments, it's like people don't want to do what they normally do in terms of participating in spiritual practices. How do I know? Because I've witnessed it. Well, somebody has an issue, somebody has a problem, and if they're feeling off that day, many times they'll let the person that they think is always on, always energized, that's a good word, energized with feeling, energized with the presence of God, they'll let that person do the praying because they don't feel it that day. Or I did something the night before, or I said something to somebody else, out of line that they think disqualifies them from being able to access necessary power, which is in essence authority to get the job done. All the while, though, family, all the while, there's divine life in you. All the while, you're one with God, regardless of how you feel. I want you to hear what I'm saying today. You're still one with God. I'm going to say it again. You're still one with God. I know this is heavy duty, but you're still one with God. With your freaky self, you're still one with God. And it's not to say that the things we do are always the best things. It's not to say that we're making good choices all the time. It's not what I'm saying. But even in those bad choices, it does not disconnect you from God. Meister Eckhart, again, I love to quote him, especially this quote. The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. I love quoting this because it's powerful. However, you see God is from your belief, a conditioned consciousness that creates that God. There is a one true God, but we don't understand that the way that God interacts with us is based on the way we believe that God is supposed to interact with us. What that God does for us is based on what we believe that God does for us. And we believe our conception of God and our definition of God based on what we have accepted, what we have owned. We don't understand that when we hear flawed teaching and you embody that flawed teaching, then the embodiment of that flawed teaching creates a version of whatever it is that your belief is, including God. So if your belief is God, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, but we still should bless him, then your God is a giver and a taker. He's a giver and a taker. So don't be surprised when you pray for something to be given that all of a sudden something is taken and you again will ascribe that to your God because you believe that that's what your book says or how your book says your God can be. Your God can be iffy. Your God can give and your God will take. Your God puts diseases on people, but your God also heals. So don't be surprised when you go on this long, drawn out fast for a loved one. And because your God puts diseases on people, sometimes y'all think to get people's attention. And because Your God may answer and may not answer, because if he don't answer, your belief system tells you he didn't answer because it's his will and he's sovereign, so he just gonna let so and so die. You don't understand that's you creating these outcomes based on what you believe. I can talk about the placebo effect. I can go on and on. I've given you those illustrations. The observer effect from the double slit experiment. On and on and on to show how we are in our observation, which is our faith, which is our intention, collapsing, creating from the unlimited to something that is limited, from the spiritual to something that is natural. It's our co creation. Am I making sense? Y'all quiet. Am I making any sense? So, the way you see your God is the way your God deals with you, it's the way your God shows up in your life. Mm. This quote is John 17 language. It's not absorption, but shared seeing, shared life, shared participation. Let me put that up. Let me put that up. Let me put that up. Lord have mercy. I want to get into the sociology in a minute. I want to get to the sociology in a minute. This is this is this is why it takes me so long because to teach certain things, because while I'm teaching, stuff is coming to me. But again, this is a platform where when I write a blog article, I give you references. I've done numerous teaching where I put all kinds of references up. I don't always do that, but you got to go back to past videos. And I don't Facebook no more because Facebook has erased the stuff. Many of them are still here on YouTube for years. But what this means is, again, we have shared seeing, shared life, shared participation, participation, excuse me. Sometimes we think, again, this creator is real. There is a big G, in my opinion, that people call the source and the field of awareness. There's all kinds of names. But you don't understand your connection with it. It's allowing you to use your authority to partner with it without judgment to co-create. So you can co-create misery or you can co-create happiness. I want you to realize you think that this is all being done for you by something much bigger than you. It's not true. It's not true. But if you believe it's true, then you live your life in perpetual reaction. You live your life with perpetual hinges. Whether the door could flow without, watch this, you're thinking it's without your consent, but it really is your consent, because included in your equation of how these things work, there's always a if or there's always a but attached to it. Let's talk about sociological power real quickly. Sociological power. Yeshua ties unity to evangelistic credibility. He says, so that the world may believe. I say to you that unity is missional. The Greek verb here, pistou, is belief that leads to trust. This world we live in, the people that exist in this world we live in, they're not just going to believe because we preach something. They're going to believe when they see embodied communion. In other words, you got to embody this. You got to be really what you're speaking and talking. Now, let me say this. Yes, people are demonstrating every day in ways they don't know that they are manifesting what they're embodying. Again, the ups and downs. Again, again, this iffy God. Again, this petty God. Again, this God who heals but yet puts diseases on folk to get there too. I can go on and on. You have embodying that you're manifesting that, but the problem is you don't realize that your embodiment is manifesting it. But at the same time, you are teaching a moral code. You're teaching a moral code that you're not living 100%. And you're teaching a power that's not being demonstrated 100%. And the world is paying attention to that. The world is watching that. So you're telling me he saves, he heals, he delivers, call upon the name of the Lord and pray. But a bunch of folk in your life have died with cancer, heart disease, all this. And you don't want to tell people that you prayed hard and you prayed long for these people and they still died. Or you prayed for situations and circumstances and it did not change. You don't want to say that. So it's like you are highlighting a message. He may not come when you want him, but he's on time. That's not a scripture, but it's based on some scriptures. But when it don't happen, you don't talk. Your best justification for it not happening is, well, it just wasn't his will. People watching. People are watching. This is why I'm teaching on this platform from spiritual principles how to embody and become something, because once you embody it, you're going to produce what you are. You're going to produce from what you are. You will not produce from what you are not. You will produce from what you are. Sociologist Emile Durkheim observed that religion generates social cohesion, what he called collective effervescence. When communities embody shared sacred reality, it changes perception. Wow. Wow. It changes perception. Now, let me tell you why this is powerful. Let me tell you why this is powerful. Because all the renegotiations of the text some of them that I just described to you, hear what I'm saying. Here's the main religious fallback. When you've done everything you could in quoting the scripture, fasting and praying about something, begging your God, and it don't happen, the fallback is, well, it was the Lord's will and the Lord wanted to take him. And we concoct these stories, we concoct these illusions, how God just stepped in and took them because he got tired of them suffering. I got to ask you the question, well, why is he letting them suffer? But these things are passed down generationally because communities embody shared sacred reality that changes their perception. So everything that happens, again, family, in that community, in that reality tunnel, which remember, we've discussed reality tunnels extensively. We've discussed cognitive bias extensively. We've discussed confirmation bias extensively. These folk don't know they're victims of that. I'm saying victims of that. They don't know that they're living that. So their perspective or their perception, excuse me, they're not the same thing, are shared in that community. So watch this. You can go to the same community and ask why so and so died, and 10,000 people was praying for them nationwide. You might not necessarily get the same answer all the time, but most of the time, well, I guess the Lord just decided it was time for them to come home. That's the best you got when you telling me, if there any sick among you, call for the elders of the church. Another text talking about the Lord shall raise them up. Other texts, that discuss that he died on the cross for healing. We got people pleading the blood. That's not biblical, but people still do it. I used to do it until I learned. I'm just saying, but when all of that don't work, The community is pretty much saying the same thing, even in their bewilderment. Well, God knows best because He's sovereign. This is an example, family, of shared sacred reality in that community. Shared sacred reality in that community. It changes perception. And these people are operating from that mindset. Thank you, Pam. Pam was watching us again on in our Patreon community. And network science confirms this. Nicholas Christakis has shown that behaviors, beliefs, and emotional states spread throughout networks. Did you hear this? So unity is contagious. Division is also contagious. See, we're looking at that unity, family. We're looking at that unity. And we don't understand that there's a depth to that unity. There's a depth to that unity. Because to be unified with the source and all of the things that come from that unification, if you are unified with a false premise of God, if you're unified with a false theology, if you're unified with a watered down spirituality, guess what? Guess what? You're going to pick up on all the other stuff that you have voluntarily joined yourself to, voluntarily decided you were going to believe and accept. Let me adjust the camera again because it doesn't look as clear as I want it to look. Let me do something real quick. Okay. Behaviors, beliefs, and emotional states spread through networks. This is why you get the same consistent thing of belief. And again, you are taught this, that if you don't believe in this way, you're not really one of us. You're not really a part of us. And what happens when a lot of this stuff you're taught is flawed? What if there's some truth missing? And you're taught not to even embrace that truth that's missing if you discover it. This is a part of the behaviors and the beliefs and the emotional states. This is why you could get the same kind of emotion from thousands of people within an organization about someone who did something that their religious belief system said was sin or was wrong or was unacceptable. This is why so many people are moved to believe the same way, because you've been taught to believe that thing. You've been taught to support it with your emotions. You've been taught to hold up your beliefs, your convictions with your emotions. And so you react reflexively without knowing the background, without knowing the story, sometimes without hearing all the evidence, just because it's not in your manual, just because it's not in your doctrinal position, just because your leader didn't say it was true and taught you that it was false. This is why it's difficult for new light to penetrate the hearts of a people who are bogged down with a confirmation bias, a cognitive bias, living in a reality tunnel where they are the only ones that know the truth. It's an insult to God. I don't care what nobody says. It's an insult to the real creator. So yes, this unity is contagious. Even division is contagious. Let me look at my time. Let me look at my time. Mhm. Research in social baseline theory shows that human brains are wired for shared load bearing. Did you catch that? We're wired for shared load bearing. When we perceive ourselves as part of a supportive we, stress decreases and resilience increases. Barbara Fredrickson's research on love describes positivity resonance, shared emotional states that synchronize physiology. Wow. Again, we're wired to share the load. That's a whole nother subject. We got a therapist on here. What happens if a person is conditioned to think that they're always carrying the load and always got to carry the load? It's hard sometimes to get out of that conditioning. That's a whole nother subject. When we perceive ourselves as a part of a supportive of a supportive we, stress again decreases and resilience increases. People, especially in religious groups, want to be a part of something that they share, a shared assignment, a shared belief. And again, in relationships, this is so deep into your physiology can get involved with the shared aspect. So, from a theological perspective, when believers are in us, when believers are in us, quotations, their nervous systems stabilize around shared trust and love. Unity becomes embodied, not abstract. Let me put this up in the comment section so you can see this. I'm going to put it on the screen. When believers are in us, here, this is again, this is the breakdown of this. Folks think, oh, it's just spiritual. The way I feel about the sister sitting next to me, the way I feel about folk in this church and this synagogue, the way I feel about these folk that I'm hearing and worshiping with it's just God. It's just a spiritual thing. It's not just a spiritual thing. This is what I want you to realize. It's also a nervous system situation. It is a physiological thing. Hear me. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but what I want you to understand is that your nervous system can be trained to bond with the wrong people, trained to bond with the wrong belief systems. It can be trained to bond with the wrong religions. Their nervous system stabilize around shared trust and love, what they perceive again to be trust and love. Unity becomes embodied, not abstract. In other words, there is a unity that they embody. And it's no longer imaginary for them. It's real to them. Do you hear me? I'm going to say this and I'm going to move on. Do you know, family? Let's get into this part of religion. And this is not in my notes. I'm just giving you examples that I know that you can connect with. This is exactly why if the leadership in the church or a religion, this is why if the group that you are a part of in the church, this is why whatever religious body you've been connected to, if there is a hardcore teaching conditioning that's going on around or about people who don't align with them, and there's a prescribed treatment about that, and if that treatment is withdraw from them, disconnect from them because they're not part of you anymore or they don't believe like you believe anymore, this is why you can do something that's not even in their terms sinful, but that's out of bounds with the customs and the laws and the expectations of the group. And this is why you could have friends for 20 years. This is why you can know people for 10 years. And as soon as you say or do something they think is in violation of the organization, you become disowned. It's a part of their nervous system to do that. Yeah, because again, they are stabilized physiologically. I'm talking about thinking. I'm talking about heart coherence. I'm talking about blood flow. All of that makes them think. They feel like, oh, this is the right thing for me to do to cut off Reverend So. This is the right thing for me to do to stop speaking. Yeah, she may. Do you all understand the big thing? I know y'all don't get this. Let me explain this to you. Do you know why in Jesse Jackson's life they're bringing up he was born out of wedlock? Do you know why they're bringing that up? And how he shared that in messages? He had to come up from that, and how he had 3 different last names. Do you know why they harp on that? Because in the 40s, the church would castrate and castigate. When I say castrate, I'm using metaphorically, would castigate and persecute you if not only you were a man or a woman who made a baby out of wedlock, and they made it harder, of course, on women than they did on men, even being a child birthed out of wedlock. You are already a lower class, because they felt like you have violated the Bible and that God had an issue with you, with them. Oh, excuse me, with you. So they're supposed to have an issue with you. They felt like they were upholding the scripture. And what he was saying in his speeches is that, and I'm translating it because it doesn't get translated when you hear about it publicly. People are like, well, what's the big thing? Because we see that all the time today. And people are not judged harshly like they used to be. Oh, no, back then you were judged super harshly. Your mother would have been considered to be a promiscuous woman or a hoe. Many times they let the man get away with stuff, but the women had to wear like a scarlet letter, and the children had to bear the scars of that. And you know why? Because these communities shared a nervous system. And in this nervous system, they built their own trust and love based around their own laws. They created their own ecosystem. And that unity became embodied. Jesse, like others, had to go through hell because they didn't have a father in the home, or a father that was married to them when they were conceived, married to their mother when they were conceived. And they were treated like crap. And guess where this comes from? This is what people don't understand. The streets, folks' family who are in the streets, who might treat you like folk in the church, treat you like that because the church taught them how to treat you. This is what I've been saying for years. Check this out. In the church, there's a lot of hoes in the church. When I say hoes, I mean male hoes. I'm talking about preachers. They doing everything. But this is what gets me. Folk in the streets are talking about, when they say, well, you shouldn't be acting like that as a saint, or you shouldn't be acting like that as a preacher. In other words, putting a standard of perfection on you. You know where they get that from, don't you? They don't get that from reading the Bible themselves. They get that from the church. They get that from religious people who are interpreting what they believe the Bible to be saying to them, and saying, this is how you act. So when they see you not acting a certain way, they don't offer you a lot of grace sometimes. Don't get me wrong. You can get more grace in the world than you can in the church. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen that. But I'm saying many folk who treat you as harshly as folk in the church do, treat you like that because you taught them they were supposed to treat you like that. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Yeah, people feel like, let me find a good place to stop here. They feel like, when I say they feel like, that's not a spiritual thing. That is a physiological thing. That is a physical thing. They are feeling in their bones like you wrong. They are feeling in their bones like they ought to pull away from you. Their nervous system don't feel safe with you no more because you violated the religious code. And they put that on God. They put that on the spirit. It's not either. It's you. And what you have conditioned your body to believe is truth, and to believe is right, and to believe is wrong. Mm-hmm. Let me find a good place to stop. This might be a good place to stop. This might be a good place to stop. I'm going to ask you the question. It is a good place to stop. I'm going to ask you the question. What have you been conditioned? to believe? What have you become one with? It's not serving you well. What have you become one with that you need to change? Watch this. Hear what I'm saying today. Check this out. Check this out. You can be taught something. Watch this. Hear me out. You can be taught something about somebody or about some food or about something, and the teaching is wrong and erroneous. Once it's conditioned, you become conditioned. Your mind, your brain conditions your body. See, there people don't understand that when we tune in to belief, when the body tunes into belief, it records that feeling, a feeling, an emotion associated with that. And when that is violated, there's also an emotion of anger or disappointment or frustration that we're going to experience when people go opposite of their programming. And again, we're thinking, oh, that didn't settle right in my spirit, because when I heard that, that just I did not feel right. No, you didn't see what you felt got nothing to do with your spirit. It has everything to do with your brain and your body and how it's been trained. So there's a lot of stuff. Your body's just not feeling. Oh, this just feel off to me. It feel as off as they say as two left shoes to you, but it's true to the rest of the world. The rest of the world knows that your feeling needs to be reprogrammed to align with the truth in this matter. In other words, your truth has created situations, or your truth has created, excuse me, an experience in your body that's off, that it's something's not right, something's not. And hear what I'm saying today. Your body feels off encountering good. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I see it in the world all the time. The world of relationships, the world of opportunities. When you have been conditioned to think a certain way and something show up opposite but good, opposite of the way you know but great, your mind might say, oh, this is nice, but your body say, hey, this hey, something off here. Something, bells and whistles go off. Just because you have a bell and whistle that go off that is your body doesn't mean something is wrong. It has everything to do with the way you've conditioned it to interpret what you are processing right now. This is how people do with religion all the time. Have done this in religion. You're feeling off about truth. You're feeling off about something that could be the best thing that ever happened to you, because your brain has trained the body. Your beliefs have trained the brain. The brain has trained the body that this is not right, that this is not of God, that this is not spiritual, that this is not something you should accept. And this is why people can come into your presence who are living lifestyles that you have been taught are wrong, or take positions on subjects that you believe is cutting down your belief system. And instead of you being able to coexist in the room with them for 15 minutes, you got to get out of there because you just don't feel right. You don't feel right because you've been programmed with wrong that you've accepted nervous system wise as right. Your unity and connection with a people group that's teaching and preaching something that's not really of the highest order in terms of truth can be embodied in you as your reality. And you won't even recognize the truth when it hits you in the face. because it won't feel right. It won't look right. Hear what I'm saying? I got to stop there. I got to stop there. Let me look at my notes, see where I stopped at. Mhm. It's a psychological and neurological confirmation. I want you right now, even in listening to this teaching, to know that you are loved unconditionally. It might not feel right to your body, but you're loved unconditionally. That might feel strange to you. You're loved unconditionally. You're worthy of the best of everything. That might not feel right with your nervous system. God, the creator, the source, the sustainer, loves you at all times. That might not feel right to your nervous system. There is a man or a woman who has love that you are worthy of, that your heart desire, but your nervous system said it doesn't exist and won't happen for me. That person is real and exists. And when they show up in your life, don't allow your nervous system to run them away. There is a higher principle. There's a higher level of teaching. There is a truth that you have not been taught in your religious framework that the creator is making available to you. Don't let your nervous system shut you down, close your heart, and place you in a mode of not receiving. I'm encouraging somebody right now to open your awareness to your oneness with the source, your oneness with the divine, your oneness with God. And say within yourself, there's a truth above what I've been taught. There's a way that has been beyond my knowledge base. And I say to the one who holds, who has stored, who has all knowledge, all wisdom, and all power, that I am open to a deeper connection. I'm open to a deeper way. I'm asking you to lead me. I'm asking you to guide me. There may be times I read something and my nervous system feels unsafe. I will remind myself that that lack of safety doesn't have to be related to truth, but only my truth. I will remind myself that there are great things for me that my nervous system has never ever seen or witnessed. And I'm open to learning. I'm open to growing. I am open to expanding. Yes. I am one with love. I am one with the Almighty. I am accepted. I am celebrated, not tolerated. I am worthy of the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. Feel, I sense, I sense. Goodness. Thank you for listening. Real quickly before we go, don't let this message pass you by giving to this platform. Show your love and show your appreciation through an offering today. But before we leave here, I want to hear your thoughts on the teaching today, and then I'm going to release you. Then I'm going to release you. Prosperity is going to feel unsafe for you. I'm prophesying. Abundance is going to feel unsafe for you. Joy and happiness is going to feel unsafe to some of your nervous systems. Unconditional love is going to feel unsafe for some of you. But just know that a shift is happening in you. Just know that there is a you that's beckoning and calling you to a higher place. Just know within yourself that my faith is the paintbrush that paints on the canvas of reality that which I believe. Just know you are loved. You are inseparable from God. And everything that God can afford is already yours. Just awaken yourself to the frequency. Awaken yourself in awareness. Ooh. Pamela says, I feel the shift. Just know. Don't let people talk you out of it. Don't let people whose nervous systems feel unsafe about integrity, whose nervous systems feel unsafe about love, whose nervous systems feel unsafe about trust. Don't let them guide you. Mm-mm. Stay in your oneness with God who's shifting your mindset. Stay in your oneness with God who's shifting your perception. Stay in your oneness with God who's shifting your experiences. Stay in your oneness with God who's shifting your experiences with love. Stay in your oneness with God who's shifting your understanding of it as the creator, source, and sustainer. Stay in your oneness with God, who loves you when your hair is done and when it isn't, who loves you when your breath smelling fresh and when it don't, who loves you with an imperfect body, who loves you with an imperfect mind. Stay in your oneness with God that counts you worthy even when you feel unworthy. Stay in your oneness with God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Love all of you. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing. Nothing broken. It is so. And so it is. Thank you for being a part of this journey of awakening and transformation. Support the light through Revolution Inc. by liking, sharing, and giving. Cash App $AG Green and $AG Green Enterprises. You can also give by Zelle. Anthony G. Green at hotmail.com is what you use. And Chime $Anthony/Green/336. If you haven't joined as a member of Patreon, now is a good time. We're a spiritual community that's evolving, transforming, and ascending. If you like what you have seen and heard, connect with us. It's time to vibe with your tribe. Also take time to visit theaggreen.com for the latest developments and just explore divinespeciesshop.com for spiritual tools to elevate your life. Your love and support helps keep this mission alive.